a little background and history on myself. I was born and raised here in Campbellsville. I went to Taylor County for all 12 years, and I absolutely fell in love with the high school, and I became really involved there, and quite frankly was not looking forward to graduation at all. And I know that's contrary to what most high school students feel, but I could have spent the rest of my life there, and I just honestly wasn't looking forward to the next step because I had in my mind that where I was, that it couldn't get any better than that. And I was content there, but I knew the next step for myself was college. So I began to look at where I had the opportunity to go, and I considered the University of Kentucky, I considered Lindsey Wilson, and then I also considered Campbellsville. And Rachel Tingle was my admissions counselor in the admissions office. And first of all, she was just a huge blessing, and she worked so well with my family and I. And my mom is a huge worrywart, and she helped her calm down and let her little boy go to college. But I'm actually a commuter. I still live at home, and I drive to school every day. And looking back, I am very happy to be 1 year into college and out of high school, and I've learned a lot, and I've been through a lot, and I'm a very, very busy student. I'm working 10 hours a week in the admissions office as an intern. I'm also working 10 hours a week with Robert Bender in the sound booth here in the chapel. But when I was looking at which schools to come to, Rachel Tingle mentioned to me that there was a few Baptist scholarships that I had the opportunity to apply for, one of them being the BLA, the other two was the Francis Ruth Moore and the KBC. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but I told Rachel up front that I wasn't a Baptist, that I was actually a Methodist. I'm sure you guys have saw my church. I go to St. Mark United Methodist right across from the tennis courts over here. A really small church, but mostly older folks. But that's my home, and that's where I spend every Sunday my whole life. So that's where I felt like I was at home. So I love St. Mark. But I told her that I couldn't apply, that I wasn't Baptist, and I was under the impression that it was only for Baptist students. Even though I was coming to a Baptist college, I didn't know that I could apply. She actually encouraged me to do so anyway, and I did, and I was up front on all of my applications about the scholarships, and I told them that I was a member of a Methodist church, but I was involved for 4 years at Campbellsville Baptist Church with their youth group all throughout high school. Dave Colley, I'm sure you know that name, he was a big part of getting me involved with the youth group at Big B, and I was there, like I said, for all 4 years during high school. I actually worked 2 vacation Bible schools for the younger kids, and I went on 3 trips to Hearts on Fire, which is kind of a music getaway weekend retreat for young guys and gals that want to go listen to praise music down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. But I went with them 3 years down to that. So I was always involved with the youth group at Big B, but I was always technically a member of the Methodist Church. So I'm glad that Rachel did talk me into applying, and I ended up receiving the BLA, which had a pretty big impact on my decision. I basically ruled out the University of Kentucky, and then I was looking at Lindsey and Campbellsville because of the small school atmosphere, and it came down to money for the most part. I had the exact same financial package to go to both schools with one exception, and that was the BLA, and that was the only money factor difference between the 2 schools, and that was probably about 50% of my decision-making reasons to come to Campbellsville, and the other 50% was that this is where I felt I was called to be at. And looking back, I know that I made the right choice, and God definitely had a hand in on my decision, and He blessed me with the right decision. And I'm very happy to be a Campbellsville University Tiger, and I know that 3 years from now I'll be graduating and going out to the world, and hopefully I will be a high school teacher in social studies, and then I'll come back and get my rank 1 in principalship, and hopefully be a high school principal. But that's the long-term goals, but I know right now I've got a lot of work to be done here, so that's where my mind is right now. Campbellsville University has been a very, very easy transition coming out of high school, and it was something that I was extremely scared about, so that was a huge blessing. And Dr. Ted Taylor, your class is just one of the examples. I have him on my Tuesday, Thursday class, and his classroom is just so God-centered and Christian-like, and that's a big thing about Campbellsville that I had no idea. I had no idea that it was going to be as Christian involved as it is, and his class is just one of the few examples of how Campbellsville is completely God-centered, and I pray that it remains like that as we grow. But I would encourage anyone to come here. But in closing, I just want to thank you guys. I know you guys put in a lot of time just to keep this school a Christian-centered school. I mean, this could be a university that didn't even have Christ in it, let alone Christ in the center of it. So I know that a lot of the credit goes to you guys, but most of the credit goes to God. And I want to thank you guys, and also I want to thank God just for this school that He's blessed me with and 36 other hundred students here on campus. And I don't know if you guys realize how big of an impact Campbellsville University has on our lives, but it really is life-changing. And I was looking at the pamphlet here that they gave me, and I noticed y'all's slogan for this year is stand firm in faith, be courageous, and be strong. And I pray that Campbellsville can do that as it continues to grow and create servant leaders into our world. Thank you very much.